Once you see this, you'll see competitive games differently from Cernex on YouTube. I don't know what this video is really about. The title seems really good, and I quickly scrolled through the comments, and people are saying this is a gold mine, explaining video game design by thinking what cheat would break the game, such as Instagram viewing it, the perfect coach. This is like people seem to really like this video, and then someone in my Discord says to watch it. So anyway, let's take a look and see what this is about. Once you see this, you'll see competitive games differently.
Weird. When someone asks what kind of games do you like, most people struggle to answer. You say tactical.
No, I don't. I play World of Warcraft.
Shooters. And they respond, oh, so you must like Counter-Strike, Valorant, and Rainbow Six Siege. And you say, actually only Counter-Strike. You say strategy games, and someone recommends you Civilization, when you wanted something more like Hearthstone. Game genres are kind of broken. But I think there's a better way to think about this. And it's a much simpler...
I feel like for WoW players, it's pretty simple. Like, you like MMOs, and WoW happens to be the best MMO. So it's like pretty simple. I do remember, though, when I was in high school, and I used to tell people, like, oh, I like to play games, and they would be like... They would just start listing off a bunch of like normie games, or maybe I was the normie the whole time and didn't know it, but I was like, nah, I game World of Warcraft. This is different. Like I'm in this world. I'm living in this world. I've been living in this world. It's an experience, you know. It's completely different.
Way to look at games, and once you see,
yeah, like FIFA or like Madden or like, I mean, Halo isn't like that normie, but like, yeah, like the sports games. It's like, dude. No, I'm playing World of Warcraft.
You'll see games much more differently. But let's start somewhere everyone can agree. Every game has something that separates the good players from the bad ones. Sometimes it's pure skill, your reflexes, your aim, your timing. Sometimes it's information, knowing things the other person doesn't. Sometimes it's something harder to name, the mental side. Reading people, managing randomness, and adapting on the fly. These aren't just different skills, they are fundamentally different kinds of gameplay, and most games mix them together in different amounts. So let me give you 3 words: micro, meso, macro.
Interesting. So like World of Warcraft is very knowledge oriented. I've said this in the past. If you want to be a good WoW player, it doesn't actually take crazy good reaction time, crazy like micro, like the movement is, I mean, you know, you want a base level, but like what it really takes is knowledge. Do you know what buttons to press? Do you know what things are about to happen so you can react to them? Do you know what you're supposed to be doing in the game or not? It's just a knowledge gap most of the time. Of course, there's a baseline level of mechanics you need, but it's not that crazy. In other games though, it requires just much higher levels of mechanics, and the game knowledge is still really good. In any game, it's really good. But if you don't have those mechanics, you're just going to get owned, you know?
Now here's where it gets interesting, and a little uncomfortable. What if I told you the clearest way to understand what a game is actually testing is to think about how you'd cheat in it? If you wanted to completely break a game to make it trivially easy, what cheat would you use? The answer to that question tells you more about a game than any genre label.
Oh, I never thought about
could.
that. Okay, hold on. If we're gonna cheat in WoW arenas, how are we gonna cheat? I haven't really thought about this. Like the best possible bots, I mean, they would anytime a cooldown is popped on the enemy team, they would instantly have the perfect response to it. So that just a stupid amount of knowledge. Win trading? No, not like cheating your arena rating. Cheating like a cheat to make you impossible to like lose an arena match. You would have kick bots and scripts, but it would like react perfectly to every situation. Not just like a guess or an approximation, but like a perfect response. A perfect defensive response to every offensive the opponent used, right?
So let's put this to the test. What is micro?
Like
micro is
stuff,
the
right?
execution layer. It's your aim, your timing, your movement, your muscle memory.
Yeah.
An example of a micro cheat looks like an aimbot. Perfect inputs every single time.
Is that an aimbot? Oh my gosh.
If a game can be broken by perfect execution, that's a micro game. Osu, Geometry Dash, Aim Trainers, and Tetris are a few examples. You can cheat in Osu with perfect cursor tracking. You can cheat in Geometry Dash with perfect jumps.
Gosh.
These are execution cheats, and you can feel the microness when you play them.
Okay.
Mezzo is the probability layer, the place where mind games exist. You're reacting to the unpredictable nature of people.
So this is mainly what WoW arenas are, and it's mainly why I've liked them so much. It's just, it's a mind game, bro. What am I gonna do? Am I gonna trinket? Am I gonna hold my trinket? Am I gonna pop the cooldowns or not? And you just kind of wait for each other. You just stare each other down. If someone makes a move, boom, punish them, right? And it's like, that's what's fun about arenas, you know?
Not mechanics. A Mezzo cheat looks like stream sniping. Knowing someone's habits before they show them, reading cooldowns, seeing things you shouldn't see yet. The best example for the purest Mezzo game is rock, paper, scissors. There's zero execution skill. It's entirely mental and probability. Among Us also runs on Mezzo, so does Liar's Bar. Even the stock market is built around this layer. If you wanted to cheat in Among Us, you'd stream snipe to know who the imposter is. If you wanted to cheat in stocks, you'd insider trade. Notice how none of these cheats involve executing anything better. They involve knowing something you shouldn't.
Interesting. So like in WoW arenas, one of the best cheats could be like if you had AI in the other team's Discord call and you could hear AI basically saying, hey, let's smoke bomb Kidney the Rogue in 15 seconds. And you then had the AI tell you, hey, they're going to smoke bomb your Rogue in 15 seconds. So then the Rogue would know they're about to be targeted and move back. So you would never be able to do anything.
Macro is the system's layer. It's your routing, your resource management, and your win condition. You can think of it like the mathematically correct way of winning the game. A macro cheat looks like a chess engine, economy automation, or you can imagine like a perfect coach telling you exactly what to do.
Yeah.
Ping it. We need to let our team know what's up.
Perfect
Pure
coach,
macro
yeah.
games are almost mathematical puzzles. Think Factorio, Polybridge, Connect 4, Tic-Tac-Toe. Once you find the optimal solution, the game is solved. But here's where it gets really interesting.
So WoW arenas are a lot of this
Most games
too.
aren't just one of these. They're
a mix.
combinations of them.
Yep.
And the combinations
So like WoW arena, very little micro, pretty heavy meso, very heavy macro, right? So that's why when you try to swap games as a WoW arena player, oftentimes it's hard because your micro is just not up to par because it doesn't take much to be great at WoW arena. So you can have like a rank 1 player who's just like very average. Like you just never really use this skill too much because it's all just over here, right?
tells you everything about what kind of game it is. So let's look at micro plus macro. These tend to be single-player precision games. You need to know the optimal solution and execute it fast. Think Rubik's Cube speedrunning, Mario 64, Jump King, and getting over it. If you were to have a perfect micro cheat in Elden Ring, you'd have perfect dodges. But if you were to have a perfect macro cheat, you'd use the mathematically optimal build. But there's one weird multiplayer outlier here. 8-ball pool. There's a mathematically optimal shot, and then there's the skill of actually hitting it. So even though it is player versus player, the room for mind games doesn't really exist. And I think it's a rare
I didn't even know
exception.
you could play pool online. What the heck?
Next, let's look at micro plus mezzo. This is PvP skill expression games. These tend to be your fighting games: Street Fighter, Tekken, Smash Bros, Brawlhalla. Your skill matters, and reading your opponents matters. But also you have some other examples like Mario Kart, like the micro of driving, and the mezzo of random items and unpredictable opponents. We even see some
So the reason World of Warcraft has such low micro is because the targeting's cast-based system. There is no aiming. You have a target and your spell hits your target. So like in terms of the World of Warcraft target and focus system, there's just very little micro. You literally just press Fire Blast and it hits the guy, right? Of course, there's still movement and line of sight. Like there's still an element, but it's just so low compared to like most games.
unique games like Tetris 99. The original Tetris is pure micro, but Tetris 99 also involves mezzo, because now you're managing who to send the garbage to. You also have physics-based PvP, like Fall Guys and Gang Beasts. which also fits into micro plus meso. The next one is meso plus macro. These are the mind and math games. Think Hearthstone, TFT, Pokemon VGC, and Battleship. Now, chess is theoretically a pure macro game, but at the human level, there's a massive meso component. You're optimizing for your specific opponent's habits.
Even chess has a micro component. I've thought about this before. If you watch chess, sometimes they drop the piece when moving it, or sometimes they bump a piece, or like technically in Hearthstone, I've thought about this too. It's very simple. You just like click the card, but sometimes you can misclick the card or click end turn on accident or misclick and you actually just ruin your whole turn. So there's a tiny micro component even to a Hearthstone or a chess. Tiny, but it's there.
That's why studying opponent matters in high level chess. And then there are some weird outliers. Balatro is a single player game, but it's also meso macro because the RNG of the card combines with the math of maximizing your hand. You're not executing anything difficult, but you have to pick and choose your cards wisely, and play to their biggest strength. Phasmophobia is also a weird game that fits into Meso-Macro. It's a co-op game, but it fits here because you're deducing a ghost using evidence, which is macro, while the ghost behavior has RNG, Meso.
Oh my gosh, that's scary for me, man.
Although I suspect non-PvP Meso-Macro games slowly converge towards pure macro over time. Once players fully map the RNG, it stops feeling uncertain and becomes a speedrun problem. And then there's the middle, all three overlapping. This is where the biggest competitive games live. League of Legends, Dota 2, CS2, Valorant, Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, Rocket League, Apex, Rainbow Six.
Well, okay, so I would argue that is there any game that isn't all three? Like, I would argue that every game is in all three, but some are so low in certain areas that it like barely counts, like chess in the micro section, for example. But like it's still present technically.
World of Warcraft. But here's the thing.
We got mentioned! Let's go! I was like, is he gonna mention WoW in this video? We got mentioned as all three. I will say, WoW does have all three. It's just a little lower on the micro than maybe a Counter-Strike, right? And much higher on maybe like a macro or something like that.
But here's the thing. They're not all the same balance.
Exactly.
And the cheat test tells you how exactly they differ.
Yeah.
So let's use Counter-Strike as an example. Can aimbot win a game of CS completely alone? Almost certainly yes. If you never miss, most duels are over before they start. That makes micro extremely high in CS2. But what about X-ray, seeing through walls? Pros have done experiments with one player with X-ray versus 5 without X-ray. The 5 still usually win, but the X-ray player takes rounds they have no business taking. This makes Meso very high in CS2 too, which means macro, the strategic layer, is relatively the lowest.
That's interesting, because like if you play Counter-Strike, I mean, I haven't really, I played a tiny bit. Like a lot of people will be like, well, yeah, there's a lot of strategy involved, but when you compare it to this, no way. And as a WoW player, it's like completely the opposite. Like micro in the WoW is like much lower. It's so much macro. It's so macro heavy. And that's why when you see a WoW player trying to play like Counter-Strike, I mean, sometimes players are good at both, but like often it's just like, no, bro. Like there's no crossover here at all, you know?
CS isn't about long-term economy optimization the way MOBAs are. The rounds are short and the execution is everything. But let's try this test with Overwatch, and right away we see a unique case, because the answer actually depends on your role. But since it varies so heavily by character and roles, I decided to ask someone who knows about Overwatch way better than I do. So if you compare all three like maxed out versions of the perfect version of it, like a cheat version of it, which one would have like the highest win rate and how would the distribution be?
I would just say support is more macro heavy, DPS is more micro heavy, and then tank is more meso heavy.
Oh, okay.
Also, the way that it works is you have offense, defense, and control.
Yep.
Control refers to like map control. Offense refers to offensive options. Defense refers to defensive options. And if you a character's mixture or like kind of design links to this concept of offense, defense, and control. Tanks tend to depend on more control, supports more defense, DPS more offense. And if you actually like dissect each individual hero, they will have different like varying levels or varying focuses on offense, defense, or control.
So I'm thinking about it like this, right? If you were to give each role one cheat, you would give aimbot to DPS, and for tank, you would give the ability to see enemy cooldowns as a perfect cheat, right?
You can literally see the enemy cooldowns with like Omnibar and WoW.
And for supports, you would have a coach or an engine, perfect coach.
Yes, that's perfect. That's exactly perfect. And also, especially in Overwatch, because it's 5v5, because you only have one tank. Like, if you can win every duel as a tank, that's kind of like a free win.
So, like, going back to this for a second, with the cooldown info, I actually think WoW arenas are more fun when you have no add-ons. So for a long time at LAN, for WoW tournaments, no add-ons were allowed. You just couldn't use any. BlizzCon, regionals, no add-ons were allowed. You played on their computers. You couldn't bring any add-ons. There was no add-ons pre-installed. Go. So what did players do? So what players did at the highest level is not used any add-ons because they wanted to practice how they would play at LAN so they could actually win regionals or BlizzCon without practicing with add-ons. So that was the meta. That was like the culture. The culture in WoW arenas for a decade and a half was, let's just all play with no add-ons. And it was great. Like what happened was people made more mistakes because add-ons make you play better since you have cooldown info, quite literally. Like you have to guess, and which means players made more mistakes. But when players make more mistakes, it opens up counterplay. It opens up this back and forth that's really interesting to navigate because, oh, this player messed up. Now let me see if I can capitalize on it or not. Or maybe it was just complete bait and I'm falling for it, right? Now it goes into that whole meso category that the video is talking about. Anyway, WoW without add-ons is actually really fascinating in PvP. But in 2019, 2020, COVID hit, regionals was online, BlizzCon was online, and well, there wasn't no BlizzCon, I suppose, but you know, the tournaments were online. Blizzard decided to remove the no add-on rule because they couldn't enforce it. Literally, everyone's at their home computer, so it's like, okay, use whatever add-ons you want. And the whole no add-on thing went out the window. All the PvPers downloaded weak auras. They got really strong weak auras, and the weak auras got better over time. Now, what arena looks like, and this is separate from the current just like metagame of the game itself. I'm talking about like the information that players have available is a full-on spaceship of information. And every player is playing so perfect, which means less mistakes, less room for improv, less room for counterplay, which makes the game quite boring. So this video like perfectly explains like almost like the downfall of WoW PvP in a sense of like you almost want no add-ons at all in WoW PvP, or at least very, 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 very minimal, for it to actually operate and behave in a way that's like interesting to want to take place in. Yeah, that's pretty much what I want to say.
A coach or an engine, perfect coach.
Yes, that's perfect. That's exactly perfect. And also, especially in Overwatch, because it's 5v5, because you only have one tank. Like, if you can win every duel as a tank, that's kind of like a free win for your team.
But what about Apex? Apex sits remarkably balanced across all three. If you think about which player is most likely to win, a guy with perfect aimbot, a guy with perfect wall hacks, or a guy with perfect ring knowledge, all three actually has a pretty good chance of winning the game. If you have aimbot, you can easily kill anyone rotating, but any close range fight will tend to go either way.
So let's just talk about this for WoW PvP too. Like from micro, meso, and macro, like if you were to cheat in WoW PvP, like say you have the like perfect micro, so perfect movement and perfect like kicks and interrupts. Like you never missed a kick and you always fake casted perfectly and you are always like in the perfect spot. That would be good in WoW, don't get me wrong. But you would still lose games if you didn't know who to kill and when to kill them, and like you didn't have the macro element or the meso element. Like you would actually, like if you had a bot in WoW 3v3 arena and they had perfect micro, just like perfect kicks, perfect damage rotations, like you would still just lose against most of the top players because they just like don't know the strategy. So they'll just be like doing the wrong thing. It's like won't actually matter. Of course it matters a little bit. Once you have the macro and the micro element, bro, like you're, I mean, that's like Trill or something, right? Like you're in a great position. But one, like micro doesn't matter much in WoW if you don't have these pieces, right? So the perfect cheat in WoW, I think macro would be like definitely the most heavy. You know exactly how to respond to every situation. Exactly how to respond. The micro element, like the perfect kicks and damage, like that helps, but this one's the big one.
Aimbot, you can easily kill anyone rotating, but any close range fight will tend to go either way. But with perfect wall hacks, you can use your nades and abilities to take a team down, but you'll still lose to someone with good ring positioning. But even with perfect ring information, you could still easily die to someone who wants to contest that position. But let's test this in a really unique game. Rocket League. I asked Pro Rocket League coach Luke on his answer to this thought experiment, and this was his response. Basically, perfect micro or perfect mechanics in Rocket League would be defined as taking the ball from point A to point B as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Like how in a first-person shooter, aimbot moves the crosshair to the target as quickly and as efficiently as possible. For Rocket League, smarts cannot make up for the fact that a more mechanical person can just take the ball to the open net far more than someone with less mechanics. This makes Rocket League heavily micro-dominant. But after micro being the most dominant, he put macro second and meso last. This is because even if perfect meso allows you to hear enemy comms or see enemy boost, doesn't change the fact that all information in Rocket League is able to be known at all times. And for how fast-paced the game is at the highest level, listening to a perfect coach verbatim would be better over hearing enemy comms or seeing enemy boost. Also, the closest thing to perfect micro in Rocket League is the AI bots. I came across footage of 3 semi-pro players versing 3 of the best Rocket League AI.
That's interesting.
Oh my god.
And the 3 AI bots were able to win comfortably. So here's what this framework...
I'm curious if you could make an AI bot that understood macro perfectly. Because we actually talked about this exact thing a few months back, and the conversation was like, how long would it take to make an AI WoW play, like a WoW arena team that would just never lose? And the chat was like, not that long at all. Like you could make it really easy. And in my mind, I was thinking AI can only do micro well. And I was like, that already exists. It's scripting and they get owned by the best players. It's not even close. I mean, don't get me wrong, like scripts are good, but you just lose to rank 1 players anyway. But if you can make AI understand and master macro in WoW, I mean, yeah, they would be perfect. It would be a perfect player. Are you kidding me? You know? But with micro, it's like, meh. You could have perfect micro, you still just lose, you know?
Actually gives you. It helps classify games, but it also helps understand yourself as a player. I noticed something when I looked at which games I genuinely enjoy. I gravitate toward games in the middle, the full micro, meso, macro cluster.
Where's World of Warcraft? Where is it? He didn't put it in there. Oh yeah, it's right there. Guys, we're right there. That's us. Where's Minecraft? Because that's also us. Is Minecraft on here? Probably not.
And toward pure micro and pure macro, but I don't really enjoy micro-macro games. Speedrunning doesn't scratch the right
here it
itch
is.
for me. And when I looked at why, it mapped exactly. In Apex, I'd argue I aim pretty well and have respectable movement. I'd say I also have a solid understanding of rotations and ring positioning, but I tend to tunnel vision in close quarter fights, specifically when we're in the same building. So I tend to miss meso reads when the pressure is high. And this exactly explains the gap in my game. Because here's the real insight. Every player has a natural lean. Some people are micro players. They grind mechanics obsessively, and they want the skill gap to feel fair. Some people are meso players. They love reading people, and they thrive in the chaos of PvP randomness. Like, we even see a common cluster of people who play Among Us, GTA RP, luck-based games like gambling, along with many other party games. And then we also see that some players are macro players. They love efficiency, they draw routes on maps, they think about the game between games more than during it. And most of us are a mix, but
like for me, I feel like my micro is definitely my worst by far, right? Like for WoW, it's like I've said this over and over, but like it's definitely more macro meso. So when I play a new game, like if I were to play Counter-Strike, I would suck, bro. I would get dumpstered. Like it would be embarrassing. I've never even played on stream because it would be that embarrassing. Maybe I'll have to play on stream one day to show you guys how embarrassing it would be. Like, oh my, bro, I would just like, it would be worse than Peekaboo playing, and that was pretty bad. Like anyway, but with the macro stuff, I played Hearthstone on stream like 10 years ago for the first time, and we went from rank 25 to legend in a few days. Like that's the stuff I like the strategy. Although like I kind of sucked at chess. But the thing about chess is that there's like thousands of years of like metagame, and I wanted to go in blind like I do for every game. I don't like to do any lookups. So I went in blind on chess, and like, bro, I'm queuing up chess games blind, and I'm just getting smoked by people with all these different kinds of openers that have figured out the macro for thousands of years. And I'm sitting over here just like trying to describe, I'm like, oh, what if I open up with this first? And I just, doesn't work, you know? So anyway.
Not an equal mix. The games that frustrate you the most, they're probably demanding something your brain doesn't naturally give.
Yeah.
The games you keep coming back to, they're probably rewarding the part of you that already runs at full power.
Yeah.
Genre labels never told you any of this.
Yeah.
Action RPG doesn't tell you whether you'll be grinding execution, reading opponents, or solving systems.
This is a good video.
It just tells you there's a sword and a level bar. And maybe more importantly, you can stop blaming yourself when a game doesn't click. Because maybe the games are testing things you haven't built yet.
Yeah.
In my case, it's the underdevelopment of meso. And that's the 3 dimensions of games. Micro,
I was like surprisingly bad at League of Legends though. Like I thought I would be, like I've never played League, and I did a League series last year where I just hopped in, brand new level 30 account, didn't even level it, just hopped in, instantly queued ranked. In my mind, I'm like, well, I'm pretty good at games, I'll be platinum. It took me a month to go from iron to silver. Are you kidding me? I thought I would just go straight platinum, just not even, because I'm just like, yeah, I can just move around people and this and that. Like, yeah, I'll just be different. I'll just go straight platinum first starting. Yeah, right. It took me a month to hit silver.
Meso, macro. Every game lives somewhere inside them. And now that you know where to look, you'll never see a game the same way again.
Yeah, this is a great video. Someone in my Discord recommended this. Guys, if you ever have video recommendations, you can throw it in Discord, like general chat, whatever. I'm in there. This is a great video. I don't know if I ever would have seen this. So Cernex, well done. It's a lot of stuff I've thought about before, but like maybe not in this exact way.